Trad climbing is what I would call the step down from free solo. It's the first way where you can climb a rock without any adaptation to the rock. You bring up your own gear, you place in the gear. It's nothing but you sustaining yourself. You're 70 meters up on some of these climbs. What's holding your life is this little piece of gear which you brought up with you. It's pretty insane.
There's obviously something that draws us all to climbing. I think there's like a really natural feeling about like scrambling and using your hands and feet.
Trad rock climbing is the most niche, kind of weird form of climbing, but it's found its home here in Arapiles, and it's freaking next level.
I hear time and time again people from other countries, from other states, come here and say it's like nowhere else in the world.
It's where some of the most iconic sends are, and you meet people traveling the world to get to here, where we are, and it's just in our backyard, and I think it's awesome.
It's hands down one of the best places in the world to do a rock climbing focused camp.
It quietens all the demons in my mind, and I'm just left feeling calm and peaceful and right. I know I don't feel that way. I don't feel that connection to everything unless I do this all the time. If I go away for 2 or 3 weeks and I'm not climbing at a mountain somewhere, I start to lose my mind. You know, I've been here for 4 years and this place has shaped me. I haven't shaped it. It's transformed me, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm now a part of this place. I don't own it. I just abide here. It allows me to live here. It allows me to be in its shadow and exist, and it hasn't killed me yet.
Actually, there's not many places like Arapiles, to be honest.
What?
Last year in November, the draft management plan was released.
And was meant to go into effect March of this year.
It didn't seem in any way like it had gone through any sort of process, I suppose. It was quite a shock.
It talks only about restricting climbing. It's missing all the rest of the management of the park. There's all these other things that are non-climbing related but are parks management related that have just been completely ignored.
Based on what we do know, there's scar trees, there's rock art as well, but the majority of the cultural heritage valleys is rock quarrying. They grab a rock, hit it against the other rock, and then use that as sort of like equipment or whatever it was for hunting, but then what's left over is the quarry site. There's very big areas that have been slated to be closed to protect rather small quarry sites. So like one small cave that is maybe like a few meters wide, and then a whole gully has been closed. Roughly 10% of the climbs that are slated to be closed intersect with cultural heritage. So that means that up to 90% of them could be reopened with a nice sort of buffer zone around the cultural heritage valleys.
Climbers especially, we've been trying really hard to communicate. The vast majority of climbers really want to protect cultural heritage. It would be fantastic if we could actually celebrate the fact that it's in this place that we all love so much. That opportunity to do that has really been actively denied to anybody who's passionate about the area.
Without knowing too many more details, it does feel like there's been an overreach.
Their role is to sort of foster relationships and get everybody to the table, and they haven't done that.
It is a bit of a shame that we haven't had Parks Victoria sort of stand up and advocate for us as climbers.
It's an interesting thing that's happened because on the ground, I know all the park rangers that work here and we're all friends. What happens somehow between here and Melbourne and Canberra is that executives and politicians get involved and they start spin doctoring.
It's easy to point to it and say, see, drilling, that's proof that climbing is not okay. But Arapiles has always been a trad climbing destination. 95% of the climbs at Arapiles have no bolts in them at all, not at the bottom, middle or top.
They want to tell a narrative and they want to sell a biased view of things that makes it easier for them to manage the situation.
I don't know what the reason is. I suspect it's because climbers are unregulated users of natural spaces.
And dealing with thousands of very diverse and almost anarchic climbers with no central peak body, no identifiable code of laws or regulations, that's terrifying for a bureaucrat to look at that and think about managing that. So it's just much easier, I think, in their opinion, to just shut it down, to say you guys are vandals, you're destructive, you're racist, you're all these terrible things. I don't understand why it's got to be like that. We're not going to allow someone to run a smear campaign that's clearly politically motivated.
Feels like a strategic direction that Parks is going in. The way that this plan has been delivered without any consultation, without any engagement, has totally blindsided the community, and people feel very scared and nervous about the way that they interact with this place, but also the social and economic impact that it will have on the town and the Wimmera region. We would like to be involved in the process. So what Shared Not Shut is advocating for is a reconciliation-led process so that people can be brought along for the journey. We don't necessarily want to have a deciding sort of conversation about how it should be done. We'd love to be able to contribute, but when it comes to saying, oh, you can't walk here or you can't, go into this region, I feel like other people should also be able to have a say.
It was shocking to me and to a lot of climbers to hear that traditional owners, they don't feel like they're wanted at Durai by climbers. I would love to see traditional owners walking around.
What's happening now is absolutely not conducive to reconciliation. It's pushing communities apart and it's fueling sort of unrealistic opinions between communities and a divide.
It's sad to think that in order for one group to experience it in their way, they have to stop other groups using it. That, to me, doesn't seem right, but then I'm not a traditional owner, and I don't really have the right to say it like that.
I'm absolutely certain the vast majority of climbers want to understand how better to walk on country.
It's all very well putting a big draft sticker on it, but nobody wants to walk over cultural heritage if that's what they're risking, like right from now. I was just looking at my statistics yesterday, and I think about 60 to 70% of our guiding work happens at Mount Arapiles. It's not easy to find multi-pitch climbs that give students a really good experience without freaking them out. There's this fine line where they get excited, they get the exposure of being way up high off the ground, but they don't get scared beyond what they can actually mentally handle. Arapiles has lots and lots of them, and that's what makes it so special. The experience that the kids get on the rock at Arapiles is just phenomenal. There is nothing else like it. Sometimes a kid will have just awakened a sense of pride in themselves, and it's sort of changed their whole outlook on how they act socially. It's a real learning experience for them because they've been scared, they've worked their way through it, they've often learned a little bit about themselves, and you can really see it. We can't just pick any multi-pitch climb. Depending on the demeanor of the kids, the weather, where the sun is, how far away it is to walk, and how hard the climbs are. These are all things that we take into account, because it's not just a matter of going, oh, you want to do a multi-pitch climb? Let's go and do the multi-pitch climb, or one of the three that are left after this draft management plan. When it came out, we did a deep analysis, and it was going to be 3 quality multi-pitch climbs over 4 pitches, compared to about 36 or 38 or something like that. It was going to shut them down. That's going to have a massive impact on quality of the experience for these kids. A lot of that was simply missed when the people were deciding what gets closed and what remains open. We need more than 2 or 3 to choose from. If it closes like it's planned to, the kids are going to miss out on some of the most transformative experiences of their lives.
What that means is you don't get to learn safely how to play this game. All these things and more you learn in climbing, and if they shut this place, there's tens of thousands of people who will miss that opportunity.
I would like to see Parks Victoria advocating for climbers and other groups like us that aren't as easily regulated, hopefully, because we're also people that love these places so much. It's not that I come here once and then I go somewhere else. I live here, and so many hundreds of thousands of people come here again and again and again.
Rock climbers are some of the least malicious and kindest, most welcoming individuals ever. They deserve better than a wiping regime with no consultation that will destroy a whole town and destroy a culture. I think the government can do that.
It's one of the places where rock climbing started in the world. Because of the rock, the density of the climbing, the closeness of all the routes to each other, the solidity of the rock. I don't know why it's happened that way here. I couldn't tell you the ins and outs, but I can tell you it's the truth. This place has a stronger community than anywhere else I've been in the world.
Certainly in terms of pure quality of climbing, nothing like Arapiles.